This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.
So welcome to the second stream in this series, because why not? So the first stream was taken down, so I couldn't exactly ask you then. So this time I'm just going to ask the questions later on, if ever this stream actually, works out in the end. Oh god. No, not there. Here. Yes. What is going on? Oh, never mind. Where is that supposed to be? Ah.
Team match, let's go.
Oh god, wait.
Watch out! First point for the red team!
Okay, I heard that part. Someone is up there. Keep on going. Okay, someone is embedded in the walls again. Whoever made this game, please fix. This has been one of the main cheats when it comes to this whatever. Someone's embedded in the walls. Okay. Someone is, embedding in the wall.
Cover me.
Oh god. Okay, so you know what? I'm not exactly going to do it like last time. Oh god, thank you.
Killing spree for the red team!
Okay. Okay. Go. Who was being... Okay, girl in Panzer. Okay. Where is... Oh, wow. Okay,
Marked a location.
just going to stay up here. Oh god. Nice. Just going to check if someone will ever... end up as a northie. I have a skewed sense of direction. Okay. Okay.
The red team is in the lead.
Okay. He's in there. At least.
Expired!
Oh god. Run. 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 Oh god. An S12K only. Using anything
Half of the
but
match
an
is over,
S21.
and the red team
S12K.
is in the lead.
Okay. These are the kind of situations we're in. Number 4, do your... Where's the other guy? Okay. We're in the 4s, so the only person that's here is in the walls. Okay. Nice, nice. I got your ass, I got your ass. Oh god.
Clear!
Run, 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 run.
The red team's streak has just been terminated.
Could have sworn that that thing landed.
Be careful. You're losing the game.
The blue team doesn't have a lot of time left.
Yep. I already sucked in episode 1. Okay, I heard that. Where is that? Oh god, they're inside. We don't suck at all. This is just hacks, by the way. A lot of hacks.
Reloading!
What were you doing?
Red team victory!
Wow. I only got 3 kills. You know what? I'm not complaining. Here's the thing, okay? Being condescending with the masses is a middle class thing, just to be sure, but it's, let's just say, it's kind of talking down. If you've ever heard of narodism, it's like a thing. You know, educating the masses and like that, as if they don't already know that they're being oppressed, and you're saying that, no, they're just being racist because they weren't educated. No, they were just being educated by something else. You know, racists, they have the data to back it up because they have their own freaking computer. For freak's sake, NFTs. No?
Team match. Let's go.
Okay, let's just, you know, place it in a bit of context. So, let's just imagine for a while that, yeah, governments that do the, you know, creating plots and stuff, they're responsible for the entire shtick. And then, somehow we get individuals so that they won't be organized into, you know, this class distinction thing, organized class distinction. Let's first understand that capitalism was never an organized class distinction, okay? In fact,
Marked a location.
it's against the game to do so. Okay, it's game breaking. If ever you would do something like that, it would be game breaking. The whole point of economics is that there's one competitor against the other, and at least someone would win in the end, simply because, you know, the system isn't anymore. It isn't. The system isn't anymore. Oh god. Anyway, the system isn't anymore, you know, liquid, isn't anymore filled with individual competitors. And even if you have like the more capitalists and like that, the more it will violently fluctuate, the more suffering would continue. Within capitalism, it's like this Darwinian algorithm wherein the more changes are solidified and like placed within the company, that they either it's a service or like part of the counterculture and the such, you would get yourself, a huge problem.
Nice shot.
Killing spree for the red team. The red team's streak has just been terminated.
If you have yourself, this organized class of capitalists in exchange for, the organized class of the working peoples, you get yourself, I know it becomes less violent. And it becomes, I think the proper word for it becomes in itself colonialist. Either they're organized on national grounds or they're organized, and Gilbert Dolphus style as, corporations of food, of Ministry of Welfare and the such. They're organized like that. If you organize people in such a manner like that, you get yourself,
The blue team is in the lead.
endless amounts of exploitation to be had. Endless. Because, they're not competing. The less competition, the less fluctuation, and the more regularity and stability of profits.
Cover me.
It's more, the relation becomes more.
Reloading.
The system that creates the profits become more organized, and then the system rewards this organization. Again, it feeds
Cover me.
off of regularity, of stability. However, the instability of the working class makes sure, the instability between races, between genders, and etc. makes sure that the organization of the capitalist class won't falter. But in a sense, it's just covering up this idea, of violent fluctuations. I think I talked about this once in this idea of pollinary systems, wherein, the more
For the red
signals
team.
you add
Half of
into
the
a
match is
system,
over,
the
and
less
red team
accurate
is
it
in the
becomes.
lead.
And
red
so the
team's
more
streak
volatile the
has
market,
just
or
been
etc.
terminated.
Quite honestly, the volatility in itself is representation of that. In our country, in the Philippines, we have a lot of these capitalists who are simply SNMEs, who are simply, cooperating. And the government is actually pushing for exactly this.
Great. You're about to win.
A lot of
The
capitalists
blue team is about to win.
will do
No
things.
mercy.
And, it isn't this idea that the more the capitalist, the more the thing. No. In fact, it needs to be the reverse that would occur. We need to have lesser, or even though if we have lesser organized capitalists, they still win, because there will be a great few, I believe, that will survive a volatile market. So to go back to the central idea here,
Blue team victory.
to go back to the central idea of this, it's that simply just by describing each as organized, or like one side is organized and the other side is organized, so you have yourself, a proper person to go against, which is pretty much no. there isn't a proper person or a proper organization to go against when it comes to capitalism. To destroy a system would literally mean to subvert that system. The capitalist class is not organized and never will be. In fact, you can see there's a push, there's either a neo-reactionary push or like the crypto push and etc. that, let's say, decentralization of the markets. Just write it down for you. Labor.
I got supplies.
Team match. Let's go.
Organization of the classes are not equal. Only the workers have the possibility of organization because of the nature of industrial labor. Whereas there is always a push by capital to decentralize. There's always a push by capital to decentralize and become volatile. This is seen by many, the educated and the not so economically educated, as a good thing.
I need a weapon.
This is seen by many, the educated and not so educated, economically educated, as a good thing. Though such a thing may increase profits to those who are more organized or are better at organizing their labor force or their labor capital. It does so at the detriment the majority of capitalists and workers. Yeah, I had to stop a game just for that. I think I tweeted the wrong retweet or something. No, it's correct. So in my opinion, this idea of universal business ownership into, this organized class thing, it's just going to lead to a lot of shit. Just because you can place them all into one class because they get the same source of income, that is through capitalism, even though you get yourself the same VOC problem. It rewards those who are more organized, specific departments or whatever, what have you, and then it pushes away those others who can't, organize better, especially in the third world. And so this kind of thing creates more volatility and becomes a feedback loop wherein the volatility creates more risk liking people to get more money, and at the same time a lot of good people actually being screwed over. So yes, the emergence of. So just because you don't want one to be organized and you don't want one to not be organized is not the solution. I mean, like, trying to not organize everything is not the solution.
Team match, let's go.
The real solution here isn't, through government doing, if the government does stuff, kind of
First
bull.
point for the red team.
Rather, it's easier to see.
Cover me.
Oh god, I saw that. Anyway. There should be a push to organize class. That's what I believe. But it should be done organically. And the only way to do it organically is to do it culturally. You know, if you sow a seed, you get a tree. You sow a mango seed, you get mangoes. The way towards proper organization is it isn't at all found it isn't at all found in rough organization or rough terrain stuff.
Enemy down! Reloading!
Nice. Anyway.
Clear! Cover me!
It's the organic organization. It isn't through, government or a top-down thing that finally creates things. Rather,
Is in the lead.
it's a cultural effort. It isn't through, it's a natural thing. I had that mistake when I was talking about full mobilization and saying it's a normal thing that you do as a matter of survival. But rather, how people survive is a point of culture. As you can see here, I'm not really bad at this. This organization part. Oh god. Really bad at this organization thing. Oh. Okay, wrong one. Oh, yo. Hey, yo. Huh? Wala. Sorry. That was my uncle. Let's see.
Great! You're about to win!
The red team doesn't have a lot of time left. Killing spree for the red team. Half of the match is over, and the blue team is in the lead.
Last guy.
Cover me! Nice shot!
Nice. One more kill.
The
Blue
red
team
team's
victory!
streak has just been terminated.
Fine. $26. Anyway. Sorry for that. The organization of classes isn't the solution. You know, placing everyone into this thing and saying that it's a classless society because, you know, they have the same source of income or the same way of getting their income, that is through capital. Yeah, like this. A universal business ownership it's not going to work that way. In fact, I actually have like this problematic thing wherein probably someday we have like products that would also, you know, barter wise way with the economy, that it would be the same thing, volatile markets, and then there'll be some like those who work in the water industry who do far better than those who make toys for children. You know, that they're all technically business owners and they're all technically workers. They are, you know, of the same class. But this is government mandated in this stuff. And suddenly you have people, you know, some people, if we're talking about the government, these are probably people who can't even do it and then are just trained. You know, pushing down is not a good way to do things. I have no... What the hell is that? Okay, so let's place it in like some kind of context, okay?
Team match, let's go.
It's already this late in terms of the year. I'd be very surprised if you don't know what a community pantry is. Basically, we achieved communism under the Duterte administration, and nobody really knew about that. Ah, the irony. It hit me in the back. Anyway, so basically this is going to be like a thing, okay? Bread lines. It's always like this. It's all this idea of why the left will never win is because bread lines. You can always say like, yeah, red lines. Now the problem here with the red lines argument is that it's a really messed situation. So there's this, whenever you hear about it, you know, you don't really hear about it's a really positive, you know, push and stuff, but it's definitely not organized. Okay, here's the problem. It's definitely not organized. It's made by a few altruistic people and people who can't exactly give back. This isn't because of any fault of their part. They're poor. Let me remind you, they are poor. So what's at fault here? Because one, most of them are probably laid off factory workers or those whose SMEs couldn't survive because of the pandemic. And so it becomes this hard time to be alive. And how are people supposed to live with that? How are we supposed to...
Cover me!
Killing spree for the red team! The red team
Reloading.
is in the lead. The red team's streak has just been terminated.
The problem is organization, okay? There's this idea made by a religious organization called the Free Store, and then it actually does the communist element very well. It does a CNT style version with vouchers and then a point system and etc. Organized, okay, organized. But then
Cover me!
the problem is that it's not this supposedly way of doing
Reloading.
things. We work to earn
Cover
kind
me!
of thing. We
Reloading!
under this planned ideal of communism, it's that we work because it comes from our own abilities, like for example artists or yes, I ran into that on purpose.
I need a weapon.
You have workers.
Cover me! Be careful! You're losing the game!
The red team is about to win.
Reloading!
So you have workers, and these
Half of
Workers,
the match is over, and the red team
they do
is
things for
in
the community, they get vouchers, and you get yourself the things that you need. But then it still fulfills this work to eat, or this work to
Red
get your
team
needs
victory.
platform, which isn't, exactly communism or socialism in the slightest. What the community pantries are doing are somewhat like that, but then it's a product-based system. And so they still work to get the products that will be used for the needs of others. So there's a middleman here. As in, the capital has embedded itself within communism or the communist structure and is still earning, even though that people are still giving for free. So you have this impasse. What does fulfill this idea of mutual aid, wherein you give according to your ability? This is your, not exactly just physical ability, but your talents, your time, what have you. How do you get that and then provide for the needs of others? How do you do that? It isn't just your passion, as in, it's an actual thing. How does it work? And see, I stand to point that it isn't exactly a matter of how you get the things or the products for that exact sort of place, but there's this idea of the domestic factory, okay? As in, like, the domestic factory, they do it. They make according to their ability. They give according to their need because they made it. Lenin called them middle peasants. By around our time, we have this fully industrialized the home was split apart, from the rural way of doing things. And then under these conditions of the pandemic, there is this possibility of the return of the domestic factory, wherein people actually make things that will provide or do help. And this, providing can actually do some help. You can see this in ways like crypto or, hardware. These could be, as in like inventions.
Influence ko binara sir.
Inventions are supposedly just small incremental innovations of previous things. Put those small increments inside one factory, you have the full breed of innovation and ability all in one building. But all of them take whatever they need and give whatever they can. There's no such thing as a lazy day, people. Like, look at me. I am literally playing games here and just talking on YouTube, doing things, just streaming. There's no such thing as a lazy day.
Team match. Let's go.
Let me just reiterate that. Instead, what we have is
First point for the red team.
what we have instead is very different model of doing things. We have, the return of the domestic market because of the pandemic, people staying at home, and then less factories are being opened. Then there's a way to, bring back this mode of production, and then it does well, but then it's still incompatible. Needs to have at least this inkling of being incompatible with capitalism in order to truly become communism. To not let capitalism rage on them. So how does that work? Centralized exchanges does that pretty well. Centralized exchanges does this very well. So it does this ability quite well. The domestic market or the domestic factory, if you add it with like a centralized market structure,
Reloading.
in terms of goods rather than
Kill.
in terms of goods, rather than the stocks, that's usually a thing of central markets. What it does is that by cooperating, domestic factories with a centralized exchange, it makes it incompatible.
Kill.
Once it makes it incompatible, it does well on its lot to bring down capitalism, because you can't exactly have those conditions.
Target down.
Those working conditions or that way of doing things could not exist with capitalism.
Reloading.
Because one, let's face it, I did say before that although decentralized as a system itself and the less decentralization, the less the volatility, the more stability, and blah blah blah. Huh, thank you.
Reloading.
Thank you. Yeah, the less the volatility and the more the stability in a society. You have, when you decentralize, when you centralize back or re-territorialize, as the Delusions say, the domestic factory, you get yourself, not exactly people making people in the Lite, as per the usual reasons.
Reloading. Cover me.
You get the reasons for doing. God,
Half
we're
of the match is
creating
over,
according
and
to
the
your
red
ability.
team is in the lead.
So you're incentivized to work according to your ability by not exactly just staying at home and getting your needs at home, but by doing so, as a cell structure, a very stable, homogeneous structure,
Be careful. You're losing the game.
as it in the
red
domestic
team
sphere.
is about to win.
Reloading. Cover me. Red team victory.
The domestic factory can only exist within a centralized market because it means that you don't need to exactly go to an office, and then this office does the peer-to-peer work of, stocks, investments, doing it by themselves, capitalist individualism and all that. Under a centralized market, you can do these things and then sell them by yourself within the centralized market. Not exactly sell them for money, but you can give them and etc. for those who actually need it. And centralized markets are well adapted to meeting needs, especially production needs, in creating things. And then once you have this, it will trickle down to creating bigger products. You have a few hardwares over there, a few wires coming from mines and etc. Put in and once you have it, press the wing. Oh no, I changed the thing because Daddy said so. Sorry.
Nasa tayo ko dia, special.
Nice special.
Special ordinary.
Why not sa ito? That's not
One, pakpak to. 200, 250.
And that's where I'm going to leave the stream for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
This is the future. is the future.